ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello, everybody. I am Stacey Thomas. Thank you for watching the Stacey Thomas Show. And as always, I am looking forward to my guest this week because if you follow me, Stacey always has someone very interesting on the show and someone that's blessing others through their life experiences and what they're currently doing. So my guest tonight, I'm just going to say Shahid. I asked him for his whole name, but he said Stacey can call him Shahid. So let's welcome him. Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm here. I'm blessed and excited to be on your show.
Well, I'm thankful that we connected, and I have to say this, and people know people come on my show no matter what race they are, what religion, gender, or whatever. But at the same time, I love having an individual that when I've checked them out, when I see what they're doing, and it's an African-American male, I don't think we have enough people out here celebrating African-American men unless they have like huge amounts of money. They're on the news all the time, blah, blah, blah. But no one's really telling the story of what African-American men go through and then showing the glory that they get from what they've been through. That was a lot.
Yeah.
So, and basically, you're interesting, Shahid.
Oh, thank you. I think I am too. My life is very interesting from my experiences. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah. And to see you smiling and to see now, we were talking earlier. So I'm looking at the fact that you have a TV show, and then I did see that you have the comic books, but I didn't know that you're also an author.
Oh yeah, the comic. Yes, so what I done, like when I was in the streets, right? I grew up in the streets selling dope. I was in the streets 100%. Went to jail a lot. Dropped out at a very young age. Began to run the streets. In and out of group homes, and so when I used to get incarcerated, I used to draw. And that's the only time I would draw, because when I was on the streets, well, I used to tag the walls with spray paint, like spray on the walls or whatever. But when I got incarcerated, I used to that's how I escaped my jail time, by drawing, you know what I'm saying? So as time went on, I used to always say, I believe my life is like a movie, just being a creative mind. But as time went on, like I said, being in and out of jails in the street life, at age 19, age 21, I got shot in my head. Well, before I got shot, I was from 13 to 19, I was incarcerated. So when I got out, I went back to the streets, and at age 21, I got shot in my head and losing my right eye. And when I lost my right eye, at this time, it was really devastating, because I already felt like my life was it wasn't right. Go ahead.
And I want to stop you right there, all right? Because I've got some questions.
Go ahead.
I read about your life, and you're telling us about your life, but there's some things in your life, Shahid, Stacey wants to ask, okay?
All right, go ahead.
So you said at 13, what were you doing at 13?
Robbing, burglaries. I told you I was selling drugs. I was Grand Theft Auto. I was doing everything.
Shahid, I know what I see on TV. I know what I see in the movies.
Yeah.
And I always say, don't stand on the outside and judge anybody, because we all have a story. But how does a 13-year-old boy Explain to me, explain to the viewers that don't know, how does a 13-year-old boy end up in the street dealing drugs? Because the way I was brought up, Shahid, at 13 years old, I couldn't even stay outside till the street light came on. So what was going on?
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. My I grew up in a single parent home. My mother, she worked night shifts, right?
Okay.
So when she would go to work, I would be in the streets. You know, she tried everything she possibly could to keep me in the house. She even, you know how you buy the storm doors when you
Right.
when you lock them in with the bar.
Right.
She tried that. I would take the door off the door hinge, and I would go run the streets. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, my mother didn't know how to raise a man. You see what I'm saying? She did. She tried to, but at the time, the streets had me. No matter what she did, the streets had me. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: growing up in my environment, right? Just 7 inches. My mother going to work. I'm looking at my mother's struggle, but I see dudes my age in the neighborhood. They selling crack, and they got everything they want at a 13-year-old age. So what I'm saying is, like, for instance, this 13-year-old got a pair of Jordans on, and my mother says she's gonna get me some probably 2 or 3 months from now. But I'm watching these kids I'm going to school with. Now I'm not looking at a 13-year-old mind. I don't see that this crack is destroying a family. I don't see that. All I see is these Jordans. Or I can go to McDonald's and buy my own Big Mac. You see what I'm saying? So when I started selling dope, it was like, it didn't look wrong. It looked at, then you see drug dealers. Everybody praised the drug dealer in the neighborhood. So you don't look at it as he's a bad person. Because you go to school, they say no to drugs, but you come home, everybody on drugs. Your family members, everybody smoking weed, drinking. You see what I'm saying? So wrong looked at right, and right looked at wrong. And
It's a hard job. You know, a lot of people say, oh, women can raise boys, blah, blah, blah. I think boys need men in their lives.
yes.
Men in their lives. And in your case, you had a mother that was working hard. She didn't put you in the street. And if we can't do if we can't do enough, the streets will pull our children. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and you got to understand this too. Like, going to school, it's a lot of pressure in it, because everybody want to be accepted into something. Everybody, and with the, like, the name brand, people want, when you go into school, you want to be name brand. You want name brand clothes. So if your parents is not able to afford that, and like, even boost, you know what boosting is, right? Boosting, stealing, right? So I even did that. It was a ring us that used to go in the mall and just grab clothes and run out and jump in the cars and pull off. So, like I said, it was like, I didn't want to ask my mother for nothing. To be honest, I felt as though I don't want her to have to buy me something when I can go do it myself, and then I want to be able to buy her something. So, like I said, once I began to sell drugs and the money became coming in, fast money, it was like the same way a drug addict is addicted to the drug, a drug dealer has the same addiction. His addiction is even worse, because he's addicted to the lifestyle, the fast money, the girls, the fame of it, the reputation, the praising. You know, you get praised in the streets. You know, but it don't tell you that. See, it didn't tell me though that age 21 you were gonna get shot in your head. You was gonna get shot. You know, your whole world was gonna turn upside down, and all that material thing, all that stuff you had, the cars, the money, the jewelry, none of that. You can get it all together, right? Put it on the scale. So I just want my eye back. That's what I used to think when I was laying in the hospital. But in the reality was, See, you chased all that material stuff. And that's when I realized that, because see, I used to think if you had money, money could solve anything. But when I
Well, for some people, some
yeah,
people, it depends on how much money you got. Obviously, when you look at what's
yeah,
going on in the world,
I
right?
know what you're talking about. But here's the thing. But see, there's different levels. See, I'm talking about the inner self. The see, when I lost my eye, right? Um, no material, nothing material could help me. Nothing on, no matter what you gave me, nothing, no matter, because about 6 months after I got shot, I went back to the streets. It wasn't the same. I still had cars, still had money, but it wasn't the same. It was something missing. Even before I got shot, me chasing, I remember having all these cars, jewelry, everything I wanted. And I said, is this it? Something missing. You understand?
Okay. That's something you said you had this, you had that. I mean, most people want all of that.
But you're not understanding what I'm saying. See, I was trying to fill a void with outside things, but you can't feel it.
So it sounds like, and I think I saw this in one of your interviews. I don't want to just say um, demons were attacking you, Shahid. And I'm not saying that you should have been here when I asked this question, but a lot of times in the South or in families, period, we're sent to church, right?
Yes.
When you were younger, or no, not even when you were younger. Okay, when you were younger, were you going to church?
No, but like when I went to jail, I would get religious.
I guess because what I'm wondering, and I've asked this about certain people, including my own son, and seeing what he's been through. Like when, and for people, period, when we say something's missing,
Yes,
something's missing, and I often wonder, is it God pulling me one way, and the devil trying to pull me another way?
Well, I look at it like this. That missing piece that I was missing was spirituality.
Okay.
See, I was trying to fill the void, that spiritual void, with material things, and it wouldn't fit. It no matter how how many clothes I had on, the name brand, because I remember like having fancy clothes, shoes, jewelry. I still was missing something. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. All right. When I began to tap into my art, because see, mind you, when I got shot, right?
Hold that thought.
All right, go ahead.
We got some good stuff coming. We're going to come back to when you got shot.
All right.
So you got people, look at God, somebody else but God. And then Hakeem says, once you go through something traumatic or painful, you survive it, you're going to move different, and you're going to look at life totally different.
Yes, he's right.
So that's what we get into right now with you. Yeah. Go ahead on, Shahid.
All right. So once I got shot, right, me losing my eye, right, I realized that what you gonna do now? But I didn't know. See, I didn't know how to change, because all I knew was hustle. I knew how to sell drugs, run the streets. I knew that. So now what you gonna do with your life? I told you that 6 months after I got shot, I went back to the streets. Once I went back to the streets, I got busted. I ended up in Judge. I don't know if you know Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah,
from Memphis. I was in his courtroom. That's before he became TV. Before he was TV. Yeah. So I was in his courtroom, and long story short. Now, mind you, me getting shot, I didn't know that PTSD, trauma. I didn't know nothing about that. All I knew was I've been shot. I'm 21, so I don't know what's really going on with my. Now, mind you, my friend got shot with me too. He got shot. He paralyzed like on one side. He got hit too. So all this is trauma, but I don't know about trauma. All you know, you in the hood. All you know, you got shot, and me trying to grasp that reality was hard. So I turned to hardcore drugs.
That right there
All right, go ahead.
got me too. How do you go? Are we still in Memphis when all of this is going on?
Yes, yes, all this in Memphis.
How are you hustling and making money, not paying attention to how it's affecting people, the drugs you're selling, but then you end up on drugs yourself?
All right, now here's the thing. A lot of people ask me that. When I got shot, see, if you never lost a limb, you can't relate to it.
Right.
If you never got shot in the head,
Right.
you can't relate to that. See, now we're gonna go back though. Before the gunshot, there was a lot of drive-bys, a lot of shootings, several shootings. So that's trauma in itself. Shooting drive-bys and people getting shot, people dying. You understand? So, and then for me to get shot, I'm laying in the hospital, and them people had surgery. I remember waking up after surgery, and they was holding me down like that. I remember that. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you is this: you don't know what you do until it happened to you.
That's true. That I always say that's why I try not to judge people.
Yeah.
And you never say what you won't do, because you don't know until you get in a situation.
Yeah. So here's the thing, to break it all the way down, right? I didn't just one day wake up and say, I'm going to go do cocaine, crack, heroin. I didn't just do that. I was in a deep depression for like 6 months because, like I told you, I ain't have a glass eye. They took mine. You see what I'm saying? So it's like me looking in the mirror. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking in the mirror. My reality has changed. The reputation that I had, I don't want it no more. You see what I'm saying? But I'm from a city that's all you do is hustle, though. You get money. You see what I'm saying? So to take my eye, right? Because see, at night you gotta be able to see police, robbers.
Right.
You know, you gotta be able to be alert. You gotta be alert when you in the dope game. So to take one of my visions, now what? Now what you gonna do? See, there's a whole lot of pressure on me. Then it's not only that, I told you it was a lot of drive-bys and shootings. So now the pressure on what you gonna do. Because see, in the streets, you can't show weaknesses. You can't you can't fold. So all this pressure. And one day, I think my tooth was hurting, and I was looking for some Tylenols. You asked me how I go from doing drugs, right? I was looking for some Tylenols to kill the tooth pain. And I didn't find no Tylenol, but I ran across a tube that I used to rock cocaine up in, right? And I took some of the cocaine and put it in my tooth because I knew it. I know cocaine numb your mouth. Long story short, that's when I first tried. I rolled it up in a cigarette. And when I rolled it up in a cigarette, it numbed me. It took away all that what I was telling you, all the stuff that I had just went through, the vicious, that cycle. Hospital, jail. Because when I was in the hospital, I went from the hospital to jail. And when I got out, and I'm wrapped up. I'm wrapped all up. I'm lost. 21. I'm a kid. So when I tried that, this is what happened to my life. See, I was already going down, but when I started using those drugs, straight to the bottom.
When you went straight to the bottom, and listen, Stacey ain't been out in them streets, so I don't mean to sound like I've been out there. Okay?
No, like I said, whatever you want to say.
But when you went straight to the bottom, your homeboys, your fellow hustlers, were they there for you?
Everybody switched up. So you gotta understand, you already know it. When you see a cokehead or a drug addict in your neighborhood, how do people treat them?
No one reached out and said, brother.
Now listen, like I said, that crowd that you see when you up, them people vanish.
Wow.
Them people vanished. And so in saying that, right? But here's the blessing though. I gotta give you the blessing of it all.
I want to hear the
All
blessing.
right, so listen.
Because looking at what you're doing now in life, I know you're blessed. So let's get to the
Yeah.
blessing.
So here's the thing. See, I've been in my life. See, when I was the drug dealer, I was on top of the world. So God, I feel like this is my belief. I feel like God allowed that to happen to me. So I'm sitting at the table with drug addicts that I used to sell drugs to. And I remember one of the women said, look at you sprung. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing though. The creator allowed me to see what I was doing to other people's families.
She said you were sprung.
Yeah. But I mean, the streets ain't got no love. So when I tell you, when I share about my story, I write books. Some people say, man, you too graphic. You too hardcore with it. See, when you're in the streets, ain't no love in the streets. Ain't no sympathy. You ever seen somebody, mother crying that somebody killed her son or daughter from a drive-by shooting? You see what I'm saying? Ain't no sympathy. Ain't no no, ain't no. So I tell my story to try to help people understand. I want them to see the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about the moment you realized no more, that you had to get straight. What happened that day?
No, that was a phase. It wasn't no one day. That was a phase, because from age 22 all the way up to 35, I traveled to different cities: Atlanta, Florida, Washington, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina. Traveling.
Looking for what?
I was running from me. I was using drugs. See, the reality. See the reality. The reality struck. The reality of, because see, I told you I was a dope boy. I was not no corner dope boy that sold rocks. I was the one who had everything. So to have everything and to lose everything, that's a hard blow. And so that ain't even including, like I told you, see, when I got shot in my arm too. So my arm was paralyzed. My drawing arm, I couldn't move it. I had to move it with it. I couldn't move it. So what I'm saying, you, from 22 all the way to about 35, something like that. I'm 49 now. I traveled to different cities. I used to jump on cargo trains. You know the cargo trains? I used to travel through cities and see, when a train leave a city, it go where nothing but mountains and fields and pure darkness. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I used to travel. I used to either do that, or I used to go to the Greyhound. I used to sneak on the Greyhound buses, and wherever it went, I'm going. And wherever it stopped, that's where I get off.
So let's take a break there.
All right.
And we'll be right back. Okay.
Want to be heard? Get featured on the Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email staceythomas@gmail.com.
Okay, and we're back. And while we're taking this little break in between this very interesting conversation, I want to bring up, let's see, Stacey first. So check out how you can support the Stacey Thomas Show. It's the theme or the statement that I say after every show. Don't stress about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, or you just might miss living today. It is now available for you to purchase, guys. This would be your way of sponsoring the Stacey Thomas Show. We have the tumbler and the shirt. Hit me up on the I Am Stacey Thomas page or Stacey's Teas and More. And then we've got one more. We have Shahid. Shahid, did you draw this picture?
Well, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I drew it on. Well, I really like graphic design as far as like on the computer.
Okay, so this is your graphic design.
Yeah, those are like some of the characters in my comic books.
And the comic book, we have on the screen how they can follow you and reach out to you to check out your comic books. What platforms can your comic books and your books be purchased on?
On Amazon and Lulu.com. And like I said, if they follow me on Instagram at _G.U. in North Park Comic Book and Graffiti, you'll see the links in every post. I put the book links in every post. And my One Eye Television is mainly television, the television show I have. Mainly what I do on there, I use my art to, like Sevens, the shows that I do on my show is I might do a painting, right? Like for instance, this painting here. Do you see this painting? Can you see it?
I see the painting. You did that?
Yeah, this is a painting I did. So this is a painting. Let me see. Can y'all bring it over? So
really?
Let me see. All right. So what this painting is you can see this is a drug dealer.
Okay.
That's me, right?
Okay.
That's me. See, it's like 5 stages of my life. See, that's me shooting heroin. This is me smoking crack, sleeping on the streets in jail. So what I did, I got an episode show about being a drug dealer. And
you're telling about your life.
Yeah, so it's an episode on my TV station that I tell the story behind this picture. And like I said, so you can see I used to put money in my mother's walls. So that's what I used to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see down at the bottom. Can you see? You see down there?
Uh-huh.
So that's the lifestyle. That's like the lifestyle that I lived. And so back in the day they had the big cell phones.
Those big ones, yeah.
Yeah. So what like I said on my TV show, that's what I do. I make a painting, right? And in the painting, I would tell the story behind the painting.
So Shahid, we got to get back. We got to get back to the stopping here, stopping there, because I'm trying to build up to where you are now.
Okay.
What stopped you in one place?
All right. So, like I said, when I used to be in the streets, right? It was cold. So I went to a lot of rehabs, a lot of detoxes, because a lot of shelters, because when you got no money, you got nowhere to go, you got to go somewhere. So I used to go to a lot of shelters and rehab. So I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was cold outside. So I was in this shelter, but across from it was like a place that had a drug program. And they was like, you can join this program. So I remember going there, and I remember every program you go to, they ask you the same question: what you want to do with your life? And I would give them the same rundown. Oh, I want to get clean, go to school, get me a place to live, give me a job, do this and this and this and that. But that's just to get into the program. You see what I'm saying? So, but I realized I was getting old. You see what I'm saying? And like I told you, I grew up in institutions. All my life, I've been in institutions. So I used to be like, man, you don't know how to live out there in the world. You see what I'm saying? Because I've been in so many institutions. Is because I remember being in jail, rehabs, or wherever. I could be looking out the window and I could see people driving their cars, going to work, going to school, whatever they was doing. I said, man, I don't know how to live out there, man. And that was terrifying to me, because you see people out there living life and you stuck. It's like you on pause, but everybody else moving. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody else being productive in their life, but your life is going backwards. And see, that's when it began to click on me that, bro, you used to have money. You used to have pride about yourself. You used to you had confidence. You don't want that back. I had to look in the mirror. You know, I had to start talking to myself. You see what I'm saying? I had to start asking myself, because not only in the rehabs, you can see people in rehabs or shelters they getting their life together. You see what I'm saying? So it was phases. It was different stages that. So like I said, I was in this program, and I remember going to this GED class. And I was just going, to be honest, just to be going, because it would get me out the shelters and the rehab.
So here Stacey goes with another question. So someone wants to know because see, so I guess we can see God working in your life, but Tawanda says, do you ever think back and feel that losing your eye was a blessing in disguise?
Oh yeah. Of course, because see, at the time I couldn't see that, but like I said, I always knew how to draw. So what I began to do after I got shot, I would, like I said, even though I was on drugs, every city I went to, like I said, I would go to Miami. I would be on South Beach in Miami, and I'd see the artists painting and drawing. Even though I was homeless and messed up, I'd sit there and watch them, and I asked them questions and stuff like that. And I would have my little drawing pad. I'd draw, and people. And I used to tell people I can draw, I can sketch, and I say I'm blind on one side, and they be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of gave them more interest in my work, because they could say, you could draw like that. I said, yeah. So as time goes, even though I seen it as a blessing, but it was a hard to accept blessing. I'm gonna put it to you like that. You understand? Because like I said, me getting shot, I slept outside. You see what I'm saying? I slept in abandoned houses and buildings. I traveled on trains, empty cargo train, not in the inside of the train. I'm talking about, between the trains. So imagine going on a train, it's going so fast, it's just shaking. You don't even, and then it'll go somewhere where ain't nothing but mountains and woods, and stop. And it would sit there for like 5 hours. And all you can hear is like wolves howling. You understand what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of stuff that I went through, but I know God was there with me though. That's the blessing. I know that he had his hand on me. When
you knew, even then, when you were getting high and going through things, you knew you were blessed.
I knew he had me. I knew, because I'm going to tell you why I knew he had me. Because I seen people die. I seen people die shooting drugs. I seen the nightmare. Just put it to you like that. I seen the nightmare, and not only that, like I said, I got shot in. I know people got shot in the head, they lost their mind. You see what I'm saying? I know people that got shot in the foot and died. So long story short, I'm in this GED class, and I was trying to take this GED. Now, mind you, I dropped out when I was like in the 6th, 7th grade, because I couldn't really read, right? So I didn't like school like that. So I'm in the GED class. I take the pre-GED test. I think I failed it 2-3 times. So I stopped going. So I said, well, I'm just going to go back to the streets drawing art, drawing street art. So one day a phone called my number. It was a number. I wasn't going to even answer it, but I answered it. And it was the teacher. She said, you going to give up on yourself? And I'm like, now I ain't gonna even lie to you. The woman was so pretty. That's the only you understand? Her beauty. I said, man, I'm coming back. You see what I'm saying? So I went back, right? Long story short, she asked me, why you drop out? I said, man, because this test, you timing me on it. and they asking me stuff. I don't know. I'm coming out the streets. You understand? You know how these tests is. That stuff is unbelievable, especially
right.
social studies and science. I said,
Right.
man, I can't do that. That shit is too hard. So
Right.
she said, I'm gonna teach you how to take a test. I'm talking about this is $1 million. This woman right here, I'm gonna tell you the story. This is how I'm telling her I know how God was with me. She said, I'm gonna teach you how to pass a test. She said, read the question. She said, look at the multiple choice, A, B, C, and D, E, whatever it is. Eliminate the ones you know for a fact ain't the right answer.
Right.
And the ones you think may be the answer, make your best answer. Boom. I said, all right, I'm gonna do that. She said, go take the GED test. Now, mind you, the GED test is 7 hours long. So you got to do three and a half one day and come back the next day. So long story short, I go take the GED test. Then you got to wait 2 weeks before. Now, I don't know what it is now, but that's how the thing was in Nashville. You had to wait 2 weeks to get the results. So 2 weeks went by, somebody called my phone. I said, hello. They said, may I speak to Ashshahid Muhammad? I said, it's him. They said, I'll just let you know you passed the GED test with flying colors, and hung the phone up. Now listen. My mind told me they called the wrong Muhammad. That's what, listen. I said, man, so I called the number back. Didn't nobody answer. So I'm like, that woman, it can't. So I drove to the school. And the woman printed off. I said, let me see the proof. I need proof. Because see, mind you, I'm on drugs. I come from being in shelters and rehab. So when she printed it off, I think you had to make, I don't forget what it was, but I passed it so far. I remember getting in my car crying. I just started crying, because like I told you, see, a drug addict, when you come out the streets from being a drug addict, right? You got no self-esteem, not low self. Now I ain't saying low. I said no, like none, because the world, you ain't got no voice when you're on drugs. You see what I'm saying? You don't even exist to the real world. So what I'm trying to say to you is this: when I passed that test, I called my mom. she was like, for real. I said, so somebody told me, they said, you can go to college, right? I said, well, right, straight up.
Oh, they done told you something, did
they? Yeah, so I went to college. So when I went into college, it was an art college. It was like right up that was my dream. You see what I'm saying? My dream was, but see, when I was on drugs, to get a GED and go to college was like saying I'm going to the moon one day.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So once I enrolled in college, I'm in college, right? Every day I went to school, man, I just remember tears running down my eyes, man. Like, because I couldn't believe that what was really happening. You see what I'm saying? So you was asking me what started changing me. So now I'm around people, like young people in college. They into comic books and all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That even the teachers. So I'm like, so that's why I got the concept, because they always say I'm gonna write my story. But I got the concept of creating my books, right? From being in school, because I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make photos. And because see, here's another reason why I made comic books instead of just writing words. Because when I was younger, right, I couldn't read. So I used to love looking at picture books.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I made like comic books. You see what I'm saying? My comic books is based off, they got pictures in them. You see what I'm saying? Like they all got.
So tell us the titles.
Oh, this one right here is called Graffiti Universe. No, this is called Graffiti Elementary Comic Book 3. So it's like got 3 other books. This is like when I was in juvenile. This one is like, no, this is another one. This book here is another brand I got. North Park coming. See, I got 2 brands. I got one telling the truth about my life, but this is like a fiction book where I created in New York.
Okay.
But, This one is called WBC. This is sort of like when I was selling drugs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And this is sort of like my first comic book. I did this in college. So like I said, I published over, I think, 16, 17 books.
So for the parents that are watching that have maybe young males or even young females that find your story very interesting and think that it could help their child, are you just writing about what you did as if, I don't believe this, but this is for someone that may be watching.
All right.
Are you glorifying being a big time drug dealer, having clothes, having cars? Or why is it that a parent should want to get your comic books for their teenagers or their young children?
So when I was in college, right, I started traveling to schools doing mentoring, right? And the newspapers started doing stories on my life.
I saw that big time. I saw you on the news. Go ahead.
No, so listen, I never talked about selling drugs. I mean, yeah, I always talked about me being homeless. So I went to college in 2014. That's when I started college. So from 2014 to maybe 2017, all the articles was about me being homeless, on drugs, and an artist. Okay. I wanted it that way, right? Because I never. So when they hear about me, they'll let them know I wasn't glorifying. So see, I'm just not beginning to talk about me selling drugs. In this is like one of my latest books. This is like, see, I started talking about the drug selling at the end of instead of the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Because I wanted people to know that I was home. I got shot. I was homeless in the streets. I was doing drugs, but I never talked about, see, like this painting. See, you see this? I didn't used to never draw like with the money and the jewelry, and I didn't do that because I wanted people to understand there's a backstory to why I was homeless. It's a big backstory, and it was a very violent. I'm from Memphis. People know Memphis is like the #1 city in America, deadliest city, and it's a lot of gang banging. It's a lot of it's just a lot. You see what I'm saying?
And so now, the TV show that you have, is that centered around the same thing your comic books are about? Is that about the same thing?
No, the TV's okay. What the TV series do, right? The TV series, it's about my comic books, but it's like my TV station where no matter what art I do, you can see me through my TV station. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if I do a paint, like if I did this painting, right? This ain't got nothing to do with a comic book. You see what I'm saying? So what I do, I tell stories behind my art. So I'm saying, so it's mainly like I'm telling my story. So if you hear my story and you choose to go out in the streets, that's at your own risk, because I gave you a blueprint. I gave you a blueprint. So you ask me, is I'm glorifying it, or if they read it, if the parents gonna believe? So no, what I'm telling you, I'm giving you a blueprint, a lot of series events in my life where I'm showing you what happened to me. So if you choose to go down that route,
that's right.
That's on you.
That's right. Shahid, when you look at where you are in 2025 and you look back, what do you think about your life so far?
I mean, like I told you, I know God is with me. I know he is, because like the first time I ever seen a reporter write a newspaper article on my life about my art, that sparked something in me. You know what I'm saying? Because that sparked something in me, because it was like, you know how a surfer, be standing in the ocean with his board and he waiting on that wave. You know what I'm talking about? You know how a surfer.
No, Shahid. I ain't getting in the water. They got sharks.
No, but what I'm saying, what I'm trying to tell you.
I understand.
Now listen, a surfer, he be waiting on the wave, so
on that big wave,
so he can catch that wave.
Right.
When that man wrote that newspaper article on me, right? That was like a wave for me. That was like, I need to catch this wave because it's a new door. It's a new adventure. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, when I got shot, all I knew how to do is hustle. All I knew how to do is I knew how to burglarize, steal, rob, take. But the same hands that I knew how to do all that with, I now draw and paint with it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like some days, I mean, it'd be moments where tears just start coming out of my eyes because, like I said, I see a lot of people get killed. I see a lot of people get shot, drive-by shootings, getting shot up, dying. A lot of people. And here I am trying to help people like the youth, get them to understand. You can join the streets, but are you willing to go to prison? Are you willing to get shot? Are you willing to get kidnapped? See, I come from an era where they'll kidnap your mama for your money. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get. See, this is the game you playing. So it's like, yeah, that's the truth. This ain't no movie. This ain't no video game. Ain't no star no. In the video game, you can die and start the game over. See, in this game, though, the real game, you can get shot. See, me getting shot, like I told you, it took from 21 to about age 32, 33 for me to like grasp the reality of you lost your eye. See what I'm saying?
Shahid, if you was talking to parents, I know you're writing for everybody, but if you was talking to a parent that took a single mom that has a son that's turning 14, he's starting to change. You said yourself, it takes a man. What advice would you give to a single woman to try to help that son?
I would try to put them around people because see, you got to understand, see, we living in a world now where the heroes are the rappers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
See, when I was coming up, it was different. But now you got people like, so it's very hard because the internet is teaching the children now. You see what I'm saying?
So
the music is teaching the kids. So it's like, I feel as though you have to sit down with the kid and really ask them, what do you really want to do with your life? Because see, I come from a family where they didn't talk about certain things. You see what I'm saying? They just didn't know how to talk. You see what I'm saying? So that play a part too. When family, you know how it is. Family, don't you talk about that? Or
that's right.
So it's like a lot of stuff where, see, when I got shot, people didn't know how to talk. Like when I started going, I went to therapy. You see, some support groups and stuff like that. That's where I learned how to talk.
Communication makes a difference.
Yeah, and talk about what's really going on with you. Don't be in the streets. I ain't fit to cry. You see what I'm saying? You don't cry in the streets. But all that's a lie. See, all that stuff that I learned in the streets, it was false. I'm talking about the belief system.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? It was false. So I had to go around people that been where I've been. That's how you asking me what happened, how I changed. I met people who been where I've been. And they knew how to
understand.
They knew how to come out. See, See, here's the catch though. See, once a person get caught up on heroin, cocaine, crack, you get caught up on something like that, that's like a point of no return. You know it. You don't see people that you said, they ain't gonna never get it right. Trust me. When you see somebody on drugs like that, I done been to the bottom where that thing is hard to shake. You understand? When I tell you it's the grace of God that you come out of something like that, that's the truth. Because trust me, man, that thing is vicious. That ain't even including, because see, like from 2 to 5, 6 in the morning, while the normal people sleep, the people that's out there roaming the streets at night, it get vicious. It get real vicious.
So now you're sleeping at night, Shahid?
Yeah, I sleep good. I mean, I love my life. I mean, like I said, you know, I love my life. It's where I love to see my mama sleep. That's it ain't about me. It's like when my mama call my phone, I answer. You see what I'm saying? When I hear my mama laughing so hard for talking to me, we laughing and talking. That's what made me happy, because like I said, man, my mama thought it was no hope. My mama thought this was no hope for me. You know, I'm talking about my mama would talk to me through the door. You can't come in. You see what I'm saying? You can't come in. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Shahid.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, so I'm just trying to get you to understand, like people ask me why you talk like this. Cause see, I remember when I first started talking like this, right? Like I told you, a person on drugs ain't got no voice. You don't see people in your family on drugs. Don't nobody want to hear what you got to say, man. You see what I'm saying? Oh, go on with your drunk self, or you go on get you some more drugs. They don't want to hear what you got to say. So what I said, if I ever get clean, I'm gonna tell my truth and I'm gonna let people know what God did for me. I'm telling you, I used to be in Atlanta, right? I remember one time I was in Atlanta, I was sleeping in some bushes. You hear me? I was sleeping in some bushes, looking up at you know how you see through the bushes?
Mm-hmm.
And I can see the stars, right? And I used to say, and I remember this night, I said, God, I had been there for like 3 days. Because I had been up getting high and my feet was hurting so bad from walking. So I said, man, I need to find somewhere to go. And I crawled up in these bushes, right? And I went to sleep. But my feet were so bruised from walking, I couldn't walk. Because once I got off of them, they swole up. So they were so swollen, I couldn't put my shoes on, right? So I remember looking through the cracks of the bushes. And I said, God, if I gotta live like this, man, I don't want to live no more. You understand? That was the point where I said, I don't want to live no more if I gotta live like this. And I got up. Listen, I get that when my feet finally kind of went down, I left them bushes. No more than 5 minutes later, I was locked up. I got locked up. So I don't know what I'm trying to tell you, but I had money to go get high. So I'm telling you the deadly mind of a drug addict. See, now mind you, I'm telling you, if I gotta live like this, I don't want to live. So when my feet went down, my mind told me it's time to go get high. So I'm leaving the bushes, walking to go get high, but I got locked up.
Was that a blessing?
I think God intervened.
I think so too. I don't, people always say, there goes Stacey talking, but you know what? I've got a son that has taken the wrong turn and he's doing much better. But when he went to jail, I said to him,
No, that's a blessing.
You didn't want to listen to God when you was out of jail, so maybe God said you need to sit down a little while.
Trust me, it's a blessing. Trust
exactly. Shahid, it's been great.
Well,
This has been a great interview. Thank you for your honesty.
Yes.
Are you doing speaking engagements?
Well, yeah, I do. Like I said, but since I've been doing like my own shows, I do a lot like that, and I send the episodes. And like I told you, if you look, I'm gonna send you some links to my shows.
Okay.
I got one show, it's called Crack. I guarantee you, whoever look at this video, whoever look at this episode, it's called Crack. Guarantee you, it's gonna move you, because it's something. See, I just touched what I just shared with you. That's like a crumb.
So to get, if we want to know more, let me put that back on the screen. This is how you're gonna follow
you can follow me on like I said, graffiti on Instagram, and graffiti. It's called Graffiti University Comics, but my video got hacked, so I had to get a new one. So it's @G.U.CB. That's one. Then the other one is North Park, and then on Facebook it is Graffiti University Comics and One Eye Television.
And if somebody wants you to come on their show, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, they can contact me through my email. My email is graffitiuniversitycomics@gmail.com.
Okay. Now check your email, because you know what? One of my things I've been dealing with here lately, here I go. People want you to email them. People want to do business. You email them, but they don't check their email.
I check my email. I check my email.
So don't you say, Stacey, you or somebody else can eat. Well, you know what? I know you're gonna reply.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll reply.
Yeah, like I said, see what I do now. Like I said, instead of like I said before COVID hit, I used to travel to a lot of schools and stuff like that. But once I, like I said, learned how to create my own TV show, I just create it like that, and I send it to people, and they can hear the message. Like I said, and you ain't gonna hear it in one. Like I said, I'm gonna send you the episode called Crack, and I guarantee you, if you share it with anybody in Virginia, the youth or anybody that's on drugs, I guarantee you they'll look at it different.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this: where can I watch this at on YouTube?
I'm gonna send it to you, Shahid.
Oh, I want to make sure so I know where it's at, because listen, I know for a fact when I share my story, see, I ask God to help me speak.
Okay.
So because like I said, I'm on a mission.
Okay.
I'm on a real mission, you know.
Well, why, as you travel this path that God has you on, I do hope there's a reason you're on my show.
Yeah.
And I believe you have blessed some people, and you've blessed me, not just being on my platform, but just with some personal things that I have been going through with family members or whatever. You've blessed me.
Yeah,
you know?
honestly.
And I've said this before too. It's awesome when I have someone on the show that blesses me. But I don't mind being the bridge to connecting you to somebody else that needs to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you.
So today you did double blessings. You blessed the host, and you blessed the people. So before we get off, let's see. Tawanda says, continue to share your story.
Thanks, tell her thanks.
My sister said, God is so good. What a blessing, handsome man.
Tell her thanks.
Shahid, you married?
No.
You're not married?
No, I wasn't.
I was going to tell her, stop calling you handsome. Don't.
No, I mean, no, that's a good thing. What are you talking about?
Let's go.
What are you talking about? That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Shahid, I'm good. Listen, I'm taking you off the screen, Shahid, because you know something. You know, it is quite a few women making comments, you know, and you smiling. And anyways, it's been great. If you if a new project comes up, Shahid, and you're working on something, you got my email, you got my information, you know how to connect with me, how to contact me, right?
Yeah, the same way with, and like I said, if you need help on like learning more about making like videos and stuff like that,
I can contact you.
Yeah, because I always share the knowledge that I have, far as like, because see, it's about growing and connecting. So like that's what I feel, like, because like I said, when I'm around artists, I like to learn what they know.
Very good, and I thank you. And look, see these women making these comments. We're gonna go Shahid. So my sister shouldn't even say it was my sister when he acting like she flirting with my guest. You're welcome, handsome man. And then I got Nicole popping up. Thank you so much for your story and your blessing.
Thank you.
Shahid, thank you
for
being
on
the show.
Let me know when it's come out.
I'm gonna send it. It's on Shahid.
No, I'm just saying, because listen. I mean, I'm excited just as you.
It's on Facebook now, Shahid. I tagged you in it.
It's running live. Oh, okay, cool.
It's live.
That's what's up.
How do you think the people been commenting?
I don't know. I thought they was on StreamYard.
Yeah, it's StreamYard, but we're live on Facebook, and then I'll put it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Cool. Enjoy yourself. God bless. Keep in contact.
Okay, don't go nowhere. I'll be right there, Shahid.
All right, cool.
Thank you, everybody. I see it appears that you enjoyed the show. His honesty was a blessing. I'm thankful for the connection. I thank you guys for watching the Stacey Thomas Show. I also want to share with you, I've started telling you, if you feel like you would like to be a sponsor, I'd love to have you a sponsor of the show. If you like to advertise, I'd love to advertise for you. In the meantime, if you want to assist in growing this platform, check out what I always like to tell you at the end of the show. I now have it on the t-shirt and the tumbler. Don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow, because if we do, we just might miss living today. If you came on in the middle of the interview, go over to YouTube, The Stacey Thomas Show, and you can catch it from the beginning. And don't forget, show support, follow my guests, check out his books. They are on Lulu and Amazon. Until next time, you guys, have a great day.